All right, let's look at another figure from our favorite line of gladiators that can also get naked. So this is Berenice from the Combatants Fight for Glory line by Xesray Studios. I've talked about these guys before. It's basically a bunch of really cool gladiator figures that work great with fantasy lines like Mythic Legions and Savage Crucible.
It's quite cool.
So it's great, you know, like the figures are fully customizable. You can part swap, you can use the figures as base bodies for other customs. It's just a really great line, and they fill in that gladiator-shaped gap in our fantasy collections, which is awesome. Berenice is also a character from an earlier wave, so this is kind of like a version 2 of that figure. Unfortunately, I don't have that to compare to, so we are just going to open her up and evaluate this figure as it is. All right. Let's get her out of the box. Whoops. All right, here she is out of the box. Let's play with her. All right, let's see how the figure feels to play with and do some part swaps and just generally evaluate how good it is to handle. And this will not be a surprise to anyone who's seen one of my Xesray videos before. It's great. Like Xesray figures, they have some interesting choices with articulation, like they do the single jointed elbows, but they do get really good range. Like I don't think you really need more than that. In fact, even if you scoot the bracer up a little bit, like, yeah, like this is plenty, right? In most cases, that's all you really need. And they do double jointed knees and decent articulation around the hips, but they don't do a cut around here. So you do get some upper torso. Oh, gotta cut that out, wardrobe malfunction. But yeah, and interesting with this particular figure is that, so the upper torso rotation is right here between the boobies. So what that means is actually with this is an interesting problem to have. With this figure in particular, as soon as you start moving her around too much, you're going to get a nip slip. That is a first, but that is due to the unique construction of this armor. Like if I were to grab Gold Hilda here, exact same base body, you know, moving her torso around, no problem. But with this figure, that is so funny. I never would have thought that would be an issue. Like, I think they might have been better served having a cut somewhere on the armor here, because like it doesn't really, I guess if you squeeze it right here, then you're okay. And you still get a decent amount of range. You just kind of have to hold on to it as you move the figure around, which the more I do it, it's fine. This works. The price we pay for boob armor. And yeah, like, so they don't do a cut around here because they want to maintain the glorious Booticus here.
He touched the butt.
Hell am I saying? But yeah, like they want to maintain that. So they don't do articulation around here, which is a little bit of a bummer. You don't get much, like, you get plenty of like backward motion, but you do not get much forward motion because of that. So, you know, for those who care, small price to pay for
a butt.
Anyway, yeah, like this handles really nicely. I know what to expect with Xesray figures, and this is more of the same. When it comes to part swaps, if we just want to like swap a hand really quick, that is no problem at all. They do them on ball pegs, so very easy. Yeah, this is a fun toy to play with. Let's get a weapon in her hand. Grab one of these cool 300 looking swords here. Yeah, no problem at all. So as expected, good articulation, not great, good, and fun to play around with, easy to swap parts around. That is very nice. Well balanced. I say well balanced as I immediately set it down badly and have it fall over. Oh, I didn't put her feet flat, that's why. There we go. Yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. One of the coolest things about Xesray figures is the way they do helmets. So all the figures usually have removable hair. So it's like just kind of like the top part of the hair, not all of their hair, so that their helmets can go on, which is brilliant. Like I really wish more fantasy lines did this because it's so clean and you can very easily swap helmets and like, look how good that is. You don't need a second head sculpt. It's just this little part swap. And you can have a figure who can wear their helmet, they can take it off, and their hair doesn't like magically disappear when their helmet goes on. So good stuff. So I am not shocked at all because I know what to expect with Xesray figures, but the handling is a definite thumbs up. Okay, let's evaluate paint apps, quality of plastic, all the stuff she comes with, and determine if she is worth the price. And yeah, looking at the figure up close, as expected, amazing. Like, and it's crazy too, because like, even though like the paintwork is generally pretty impeccable on these figures, you know, like all the little divots and everything, like they also like are really good at like using restraint. Like there's just kind of this clear separation of materials that gives the figure like a very like considered character design. Looks really nice. And look at those eyes. Amazing. Like this is a very, very appealing looking figure. Like this line is absolutely dominating when it comes to like fantasy women by far. So great paintwork, feels really nice, like very good quality plastic. Now let's look at her stuff. So we've got her helmet and we looked at what that looks like on her head. It's awesome. And, you know, it's a soft plastic, so it goes over her head nicely. It's not going to like scratch the paint on her face or anything. Really love this. Like, how do you even like do this arrangement here? Like, I guess these are feathers that are kind of pushed up and then drooping down. But, you know, it's fantasy. Don't have to worry too much about the realism of it, but just looks really great. Very, very nice. Good wash work on these feathers up here. And we've got a beautiful shield. Nice and simple, you know, like not too crazy on the paint, but good separation of materials. I love their design, the way they put shields on. Like this is so much easier than some other lines. Like you just get the hand in here and then just kind of gently loop this around the arm and you're all set. And we've got a spear in 2 parts, which I'm going to keep like this for the moment so we can actually look at it on camera. So it's double-ended. So you got the slashy stabby and then the sometimes stabby other endy. That fell apart. But yeah, you can just put this together and you got a big old spear for her. And I will definitely take some photos of her with this. But man, this is long. Look at that. But yeah, very, very cool, very simple. And we got 2 swords and they're different, which is cool. So this one looks a lot like the swords I remember the Spartans using in 300. Very nice design. And this is cool too. It's almost like a kukri a little bit, except kukris tend to like curve down a little bit more, but yeah. Nice, simple design on these weapons, you know, like very, like not overly detailed, but very clean. Now let's take a look at hands. So out of the box, we got 2 gripping hands that, as we saw earlier, hold the weapons just fine. We've got our relaxed hands for hanging out. Nice paint work, really brings out the details, especially like between the fingers. Whoa there. Yeah, we got some flat hands. Lots of different uses for these, you know, like pressing against something, just like resting one hand on the ground. You don't see nice flat hands like this very often, so nice to have for sure. And fists for when it's time to throw down. And she's also got a pair of bare feet because you can get this figure completely naked.
My, what lovely feet.
They look nice. They look like feet. It's also hard to get this on camera, but I always get a show of Xesray figures because their joints terrify me because like this is a hard plastic and like, you know, you see just how little of the plastic is actually attached on the joint. Same with the wrist ones. So be careful when you're doing swaps, you know, if you get any resistance, heat up the hands and feet so that they will pop on smoothly. So yeah, great spread of accessories, amazing paint, high quality figure at a very reasonable price. Like I don't know how they do it with the Xesray figures in particular. These are extremely reasonable. So value gets 2 thumbs up. All right, let's scale her up with some figures that I think she looks good with. So first I grabbed some more like barbarian gladiator type guys. So we've got the Frazetta Girls Norseman, a Mythic Legions Dwarf, Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Pale, a Savage Crucible Lemurian, and a Mythic Legions 1.0 figure. And here she is with my growing collection of fantasy ladies, which is awesome. So we've got Neve, which is a Mythic Legions 1.0 female figure. Very cool. Lazy Monster Studio Brillia Dark Moon, Xesray Goldhilder, and a custom on a Mythic Legions 2.0 body. So yeah, in general, she's going to scale great with your other like fantasy 7-inch scale figures, which is great. So scale, as expected, is a thumbs up. Okay, now let's evaluate kit bash potential. So that is basically like how easy it is to customize this figure. Now, the amazing thing about Xesray figures is all of this armor can be taken off. So the first thing we can do is pop the feet off and slide off this leg armor. There we go. Always be careful if you're getting any resistance on this stuff. There we go. Just need to get it going. And usually, like, I'm pretty impressed. I almost never see paint rub on these figures. Oh, little blemish there, but not a big deal. Actually, it's gone. All right, now let's carefully take these hands off. There we go. Slide that off. There. Slide that off. Got a little armband there. And these shoulder pads, oh, these pop off. This is amazing. Like, I don't know how they do this, but like Xesray is the only one I know where like soft plastic into soft plastic connections are easy. It's always a pain in the butt in every other line. So we can take those off. And then we got this like kind of upper armor here, which that is going to require removing the arms, which scares me because I broke one of my Goldhilders that way. So from here, we're going to do things off camera. All right, here she is with everything off. And I'm going to do my best to be a grown-up here. Yeah, actually, like when you like the muscularity here is awesome. I love like the subtle paint that kind of like shows how like toned the muscles are. So, you know, in addition to being an awesome gladiator lady, she also makes a fantastic babe to go over Conan's shoulder or something. For you Frazetta fans out there who love that booty. And I include myself in that as well. I've recently gotten into Frank Frazetta artwork and it's awesome. It's a very good looking female body on an action figure. And like, I do appreciate the commitment to having a nice butt.
Wow, that's a pretty big butt.
Things are anatomically correct here, so that's why she's covering them. But yeah, and you can even take these off too. It's all Barbie doll down here, but yeah, just wanted to show what this figure looks like all stripped down.
What?
Now, a cool thing that I noticed is that when it comes to the hair, she has the same hair color as Cassia here. So that means in addition to her hair, you also can put on Cassia's hair and it looks good. Push that down a little bit. Now her ponytail does kind of push it off a little bit. And like when you actually look at this, like, man, that's like a lot of hairstyles all at once. But, you know, I just thought it was kind of cool that this fits on there. And so does this simpler cut. Like, it looks a little high from some angles, but from other angles, it looks really nice. Yeah, the only thing that's a little weird is the way the ponytail's coming out, but I don't know. I think that's really cool. Like, this is the first time I've seen the hair pieces between two Xesray figures swappable. Now let's get a little bit more of her armor back on because I made an amazing discovery while doing this. So just to show, jeez. So just to show how the armor goes back on, we can just slide the skirt on here. And then where'd the boob armor go? There. So we want to slide this on and have it tucked behind. There we go. So that piece kind of tucks behind the skirt. And then you just put her back on. Look at that. No wardrobe malfunction. So this shoulder strap piece is very interesting because, as we know, the shoulder pads she came with attached to them just fine. Now here's the amazing thing. They are also perfectly compatible with Mythic Legions. And that had to have been intentional. Like, check this out. Look at that. That's awesome. Completely compatible with another line. Let me get this on her. So just to show it, you do need to remove both of the arms to get this on and off. So be very careful because we got a bunch of brittle, hard pieces in this shoulder construction. So just be very careful, gently edge it out. On mine, this particular peg hole seems a little loose, so that's why this popped out so easily. I normally would not recommend trying to pull this piece out. That is how my gold Hilda broke, because that peg can come off very easily. So check this out. Now we can just pop this over and look at that crazy shoulder pad. It does sit a little funny, like it's not a perfect conversion, but I just thought that was so cool. So let's get these arms back on here. This is a little funky. Kind of have to work it through and snap it on, but not too bad. There we go. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool, right? That a Mythic Legion shoulder pad works with her. I think that's awesome. And that also means that her shoulder pads work on Mythic Legions figures. So this probably might be a little small, but look at that. Push that in, fits perfectly. You know, let's see, let's pop this off. So like it sits a little high, like it's not perfect, but you know, I just think that opens up a lot more customization, and that is really, really cool. All right, so I've got just like parts everywhere here. So I am gonna put her all together the way I want her, and we will wrap this thing up. Damn. You know, I just really decided, like, let's just go for the vanilla look because, whew, that looks awesome. Oh, here, we gotta get a sword back here. Gotta have that backup. Nice. Is that the right kind of sheath for a sword like this? Seems kind of, I don't know. It's fine. It's fine for now. What an awesome figure. This is gonna look so good in the B-roll. Oh, that is awesome. I will say though, like usually I consider Xesray figures like super well considered, but I do kind of feel like this shield is a little mismatched. Like just like that big splash of silver when the rest of her is all red and gold feels a little off. So you know what? Let's try something. I've got her male companion or male counterpart in this wave, Medocus here. And he's got a lot more silver on him. I wonder, although his shield also has a lot of silver on him, but let's try it out since these shields are so easy to swap. There we go. That is more like it. I really like the way the shield definitely kind of like follows the browns of her shoulder pad. Yeah, this feels a little bit better. I wish the browns were a little lighter, but this is nice. And you know, it's got that divot so she can bring the spear up, rest it there. Yeah, this is cool. All right. See, isn't it fun? It's so fun to like swap parts with these lines and just kind of make your own stuff. Kit it out the way you want it. And I think Medocus works pretty well with this shield too, because he's got all this like silver armor plating on him. Yeah, I think that works out pretty well. So there you have it. Another fantastic Gladiator from Xesray Studios. Like one like difference with Xesray figures compared to like Mythic Legions and stuff is like I don't as often find myself making new characters with these figures. I will tweak them a little bit, but in general, like their loadout out of the box just looks so good most of the time. So I'm happy to kind of just keep them as they are with some minor modifications. Although I do have the alternate color of her pre-ordered, and hopefully we'll get that soon. And I think that one is going to be modified a bit more so it doesn't just look like a palette swap of this figure. I'm very excited to be doing that. But for now, this video's done. Let's get her into the display case. Okay, here we go. Damn. I love looking at this figure. This is awesome. With like my crappy overhead lighting, she's looking really cool with her eyes shrouded in the helmet slits. Yeah, cool figure. Okay, let's get you in there. So, she hangs out in my Gladiator / Roman Greek general mythology display. So let's get you right. Yeah, that's a good spot. There we go. All right. Man, this is looking fantastic. So these guys share space with the barbarians. But who knows? If things keep going like this, they might need their own section too, and I will have to do even more rearranging. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you especially to my channel members, Search, Damien, Carlos D. Cactus, and Ryan Colwell. If you are interested in becoming a member, you get access to a cool Discord server where I have kind of like a little mini wiki type thing for customizers, and yeah, it's just a place to hang out and chat with like-minded collectors who like to rip their figures apart and customize them. So thank you for your consideration on that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.